Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A report from Taiwan's military says China could move to take Taiwan by the end of President Xi Jinping's third term. Xi this year was awarded an unprecedented third five-year term as China's president. The military assessment warns Beijing may want to resolve the Taiwan question before this term ends in 2027. Other organizations have issued similar threat assessments. The CIA said previously that it believes the Chinese military has been instructed to be able to take Taiwan by the year 2027. Taiwan's defense ministry has thanked the U.S. after President Joe Biden approved up to $80 million in military funding. The foreign military financing program helps with grants for foreign governments buying U.S. defense equipment and military training. But the program is usually reserved for sovereign states, and the U.S. does not officially recognize Taiwan as a country. U.S. officials say that approval for the funding does not mean a change in the country's foreign policy. Cities around Taiwan have reported a spate of high-profile break-ins and graffiti incidents this year. Now authorities are hinting that a gang of foreign nationals may be behind them. Bryn Thomas paints us a picture.
Bomb in the city, or getting up, top to bottom, side to side. These are phrases used by graffiti artists that describe painting tags on buildings, or in this case, train cars. But authorities in Taiwan use other words for the activity. These being trespassing, vandalism, and breaking and entering. They're looking into a series of graffiti incidents that took place around Taiwan this summer, including one in which the suspected perpetrators dressed up in costume.
6次的这个衣服兑换，那其中有包括了西装服、运动服、女装。
Police say the men in this picture come from the Czech Republic and Germany. They suspect they're responsible for a graffiti incident in Taichung in late August. They also say that they haven't ruled out the possibility that they're part of a group and took part in other incidents that happened around the same time. Earlier in the month, a person or persons broke into a train yard in northern Taiwan and vandalized a train worth $25 million. Two other incidents were reported not long after, all targeting public transportation in different parts of the country. The police have issued a warrant for the arrest of the costume painters, but they've already skipped town.
在22号持欧盟的观光户签证从香港搭机到桃园机场，在25号再搭机出境。
Authorities say they'll continue to investigate the offenses, but they're unlikely to get their hands on the two men shown here. If they return to Taiwan and are caught, they could face 1 to 7 years in prison and a fine of over $300,000. James Lin and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Manufacturing activity in Taiwan saw an upswing in July after several months of contraction. That's according to the Zhonghua Institution of Economic Research, or SEER, a local think tank. SEER's composite index, which gauges the manufacturing sector's performance, rose by over a point last month. It was the highest figure on the index since September 2022. SEER says the increase is due to the coming peak sales season for tech products. It says this has raised demand for inventory, boosting export orders and production. Japan's prime minister has pledged to help the country's fishing industry after China banned all of its seafood exports. The move was in response to the release of treated radioactive water in Fukushima, which Japanese officials and experts say poses no threat to public safety. Joyce Zhen reports.
Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio takes a bite of squid, caught from the Fukushima prefecture where treated radioactive water has been released. He and other Japanese ministers have been working to prove that despite concerns, the seafood is safe to eat. Consumers have grown wary of Japan's fish over fears of radiation contamination. Japan's move to discharge treated nuclear wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant, which is located near the country's eastern Pacific coast, is raising tensions across East Asia. The discharge is a key step in closing down the inactive plant, which has suffered meltdowns after being hit in 2011 by a tsunami in what's considered the world's worst nuclear plant disaster since Chernobyl. Though the plan was approved by Japan's government and the UN's nuclear watchdog, several people in Japan and overseas have protested it. The biggest show of disapproval? A blanket ban from China on all of the country's aquatic products. It's a significant economic blow given China is Japan's largest trade partner.
这个措施是很正确的，但是我感觉这个过了一段时间之后，连我们自己国家的海产品都要受到影响了，因为它过段时间就要跑到这里来了。
In response to the ban, Tokyo said it's willing to tap into more reserves and add onto a $500 million pledge to support fishermen until demand recovers. But the backlash has gone beyond trade. Some of the heat has fallen on Japanese people living in China. Japan's foreign ministry has had to issue harassment warnings to its overseas citizens in China after thousands reported receiving prank and protest calls. The ministry even urged its citizens to, quote, not speak Japanese unnecessarily loudly.
いずれにせよ、中国側に対しては、国民に冷静な行動を呼びかけると、適切な対応を行うとともに、処理水について正確な情報を発信することを強く求めており、引き続き強く求めていきます。
Other international officials have shown solidarity. The U.S. ambassador visited Fukushima and also ate some fish in support of the water discharge. But this is a rocky start to what could potentially be a decades-long project to fully decommission the plant, which is sure to keep drawing global attention. Devin Tai and Joyce Zinn for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is set to start charging for a free meal service for seniors as it struggles to meet demand. As Rick Lauer reports, it's just one area in which Taiwan is adapting to its aging society.
This is a government-subsidized food delivery, a lifeline for many elderly people in Taiwan. But with its current budget, the government is now struggling to keep up with rising demand.
这次就做了一个餐费的一个调整，我们调到100块一餐。那在志工的服务的交通费，我们也提高了。社救法的中低收要不要收10%的这件事情，我们还要内部还要再讨论。
Taiwan is heading towards becoming a super-aged society by 2025. More than 20% of the population will be aged over 65. Taiwan's increasing cost of living and low wages mean younger Taiwanese are choosing not to have children. The country has one of the lowest fertility rates in the world. That, plus a strict immigration policy, means the country's population is shrinking and the percentage of older people is swelling. This aging population is straining many aspects of Taiwan society, from public transport to healthcare. And lower-income Taiwanese, those most likely to use the government's food delivery service, are disproportionately affected.
There's not much of a safety net. Your pension is calculated, as I understand it, according to how much money you made. So if you worked, say, as a vendor in the night market, and your paper tax might be quite low. And so the retirement you receive is also going to be low.
Taiwan's Health and Welfare Ministry says it is still looking into how to meet the demand for subsidized meals, including offering food at senior centers to avoid delivery charges. As Taiwan's population continues to age, the question of who will carry the economic burden is becoming an ever-pressing question. John Su and Rick Lauert for TaiwanPlus.
A rare Formosan black bear that was found caught in a trap earlier this week has died. The adult bear was found by two teenage hikers in eastern Taiwan earlier this week. A medical team was forced to amputate the bear's paw to rescue it. But while it was being treated, the bear went into shock and died from infection. Animal protection officials have been working to protect Formosan black bears and endangered species. They say they will give the teenagers who spotted the bear a cash reward. Thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu, and I'll see you next time.